We're finally starting to get more information on the Hong Kong listing of XPeng, and we're going to talk about how that could relate to NIO. But we've also got some massive news on CCIV that we're going to talk about towards the end of this video, so stick around for that. You guys do not want to miss that. But before we get into any of that, we ask you guys to hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 5,000 subs by the end of this month. That's all we ask from you guys. It's the best way to support the channel, and it's the best way to keep up to date on all things NIO and stock market related news. So without further ado, man, let's give it some razzle dazzle and hop into it. So first things first, we'll start off with XPeng, and then we'll talk about CCIV. So XPeng Motors, the reason they're down today, they're down about 1.26% at the time of this recording, and that's because they're offering more shares to the markets, 85 million more shares to the global market. They're going to be listed in Hong Kong under the ticker symbol 9868, which I'm sure their market's obviously different because they don't do it like we do over here with the names. But they said that the Hong Kong public offering is going to offer their shares at it's going to equal about $46.39 in US dollars. So right now, XPeng's sitting at about $41. So that's a little bit more expensive than where we're at right now. I thought XPeng was higher, but apparently not. So to me, it sounds like that's a pretty good steal right now to get it where it's at. But they said 85 million new shares are going to be introduced to the market, with 80 million, or just over 80 million of those shares are going to be international offering, and then 4.25 million of those shares are going to be held for the Hong Kong markets, for the people who decide to invest through that market. So that's good news. That's good news that they're kind of doing that. And that brings the total for XPeng's outstanding shares all the way up to 887 million, a little over that, which we can compare this to Li Auto and NIO. I always call it Ni when I say Li. But NIO's outstanding shares is $1.6 billion, or 1.6 billion shares, which is...
That's a lot of shares.
It's a little over, just a hair under double, which is absolutely ridiculous. So there might... I've got a little theory there. We'll get to that in a second. But Li Auto has about 904 million shares of outstanding shares. So why does NIO have so many shares? Is it because they're in trouble? Like, early on in their venture out as a company, that they had to keep raising funds to keep the company going? That could be a theory. Or my theory is that William Li, because I always NIO Trending over there on NIO Trending, his channel, I'm gonna shout out to him. He always thinks that William Li is one step ahead of everything, and I kind of agree with that, because he always drops these bombshells. So I'm wondering if they've already. So XPeng had to offer more shares to bring it to the Hong Kong market. I'm wondering if NIO has already done that by having more shares. Like, I don't know if it's going to work like that. I don't know if they can just take some of those shares and put them over in the Hong Kong market, because if you do another public offering, like, that is going to hurt NIO like crazy.
Yeah, NIO doesn't need any more shares. And last time I heard, the first time this came out, what I read was that NIO already had the funds for this, so they weren't going to have to raise any more funds or anything, which is good. So yeah, hopefully they're not adding a bunch more shares, because they already have a crazy amount of shares. So
So that makes me wonder if he's already thought this through, and that's why they have so many shares now. So that way they can just offer some of these shares to the Hong Kong market. You not have to do another offering, drop the price, and things are Gucci from this point forward. So I'm kind of hoping that's the case. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you guys think it's going to be? Do you think they're going to have to offer another offering? There has yet to be an official word on NIO doing this yet. We're all just kind of basing this information on what XPeng is doing and how things are going. There's still no official date for XPeng's listing on the Hong Kong market. The article did not say like, hey, today's the day. They just passed their filing in their court, or the hearing or whatever for the listing yesterday. So I'm sure more news is going to come out with this in the coming days or the coming weeks, so we'll keep you guys updated on all of that. But let's go ahead real quick before we get over to CCIV. Let's go ahead and show you guys the stock, show you what it's doing, and talk about it from there. So looking at the stock for NIO, up 1.37% today. You would expect XPeng to be up as well if they didn't have that share offering today. So that's why XPEV is down, but NIO is up, finally breaking past this 46. This is the support resistance that we were fighting for quite some time. We'll see what happens. Again, still $48 by the end of this week is what we said.
Who knows?
At this point, it's a crapshoot by tomorrow. Who knows where this is going? I'm gonna hold it. It's probably not gonna be right, but I'm gonna hold it just to stick to my answer of about $48 or so. We'll see how things go tomorrow. It seems that everything's been going green when there hasn't been government talks about anything ridiculous.
Right.
So
yeah, and we broke past the 46. We just need to actually hold above the 46.
Right.
And then we'll go to 48 for sure.
So as long as there's no government talks tomorrow or sometime today, and people just keep their mouths shut, hopefully we can see another green day tomorrow. But again, we're holding at 46. That's going to put us back into that support resistance area. You know, we're kind of bounced in this area between 46 and 50. You know, I think if we can get to 48, we'll be gravy. And then once we surpass that 50, we talk about it all the time over here on this channel. Once you surpass that 50, I think we're going to be running off the new highs and probably bounce off the 55 after that. So it's a matter of holding and buying more. The volume is still relatively low for NIO again today, about 22 million shares so far today, volume-wise. So it's only 12 o'clock, so we still have about 4 hours. We'll see how well that goes. And again, usually towards the end of the day, every day, you see that big surge in shares traded and stuff like that. So we'll keep an eye on it, see what happens. Tesla's up about 5.6%. Now, I think Tesla's up like crazy because of the fact that CNBC came out yesterday and like, hey, we're going to see this thing go to 700, and it's been on a freaking rocket ship the last 2 days. I mean, we look at the last 5 days, it's just blasting off.
And it hasn't really started recovering at all like NIO did starting, I don't know, a month ago now. Tesla's still just chilling down there. So, I mean, it's got to go up at some point. Right. So it's been lagging behind, and now it's finally starting to move up, which obviously is good. Yep. I didn't think it was going to get this high by the end of this week, but I'm happy that it did.
Right, exactly. So let's go ahead and talk about CCIV. Let's go ahead and let's since we're on the screen, let's show the stock real quick, and then we'll talk about the news we got going on. So there's reasons why CCIV is up 3.2% today, and it's huge. It's a freaking beamer, dude. But we're finally above that 25. That 25 resistance. Let's see if we can hold this. Last time we went up and came back down. But we bounced off the 22, 23 mark. So we'll see if it holds. And go from there. I'm hoping if we hold here, it's just going to slowly start to climb up. More news like this has to come out with CCIV. And once the deliveries start to go, man, I think we're off the new race. So fingers crossed.
When Lucid announced the merger, it had approximately 7,500 reservations for its Lucid Air sedan, but over the last couple months, it's actually added over 2,500 reservations. And as of June 22nd, they had over 10,000 reservations, which for a company that hasn't even put out a vehicle yet, that's a lot of reservations. And also we talked about the pre-production builds, I don't know, a few days ago, but Lucid says now they're all complete with the pre-production builds, and they've started producing quality validation builds. So pretty much that means that these, once they go through all of Lucid's rigorous standards and stuff, that these are the final product, and these quality validation builds, as they say, those are going to be actually delivered to customers. So they're not like, pre-production builds. Obviously, they're the actual final product. So I think it's big news that this has come out and that they're actually not just doing pre-production builds like we thought just a few days ago. They're actually producing the final product, which is huge.
Well, NIO had NIO's ET7. They just had that pre-production build, the finalized version come off their market or off their line, and that's what they were testing to verify everything was working correctly, everything from start to finish. So that's big news for CCIV.
Yeah, so maybe NIO is going to be getting close to, doing the final builds as well. That would be huge. Lucid even decided to accelerate some of its plan due to high demand. Basically, they're pulling forward $350 million that they plan to use a few years from now just to accelerate the expansion, pretty much. So the money will be used to combine the next two phases of the factory expansion into one phase. Implementing a general assembly line for the Gravity SUV, which we talked about a couple days ago. But yeah, Lucid already completed phase 1, which has a capacity of approximately 34,000 units per year, which is just insane for, a company, like I said, that just started out. They're already able to produce 34,000 vehicles. The new plan will provide an additional 2.7 million square feet of manufacturing space, which will facilitate up to 53,000 air units per year by 2023, which is, again, fantastic. And they said that the Gravity SUV is mostly on schedule, but Lucid expects to release the vehicle near the end of its projected timeline in the second half of 2023. But also the good news here is the company reiterated its delivery outlook for 2023 and 2024, which calls for 49,000 vehicles in 2023 and 90,000 in 2024. So, it seems like it's a little ways away, but the company, you got to remember, they're not in the same spot that Tesla is or Nio. Like, they just started. They haven't even delivered anything. And within 3 years, 2 years technically, that they're going to be putting out 90,000 vehicles.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic news. And I know their Arizona factory is supposed to put up, I think they said a 300,000 capacity or something like that. Something absolutely ridiculous. So the faster that CCIV can get off their feet, the faster you're going to see the stock start to climb.
And you got to remember, too, that Saudi Arabia back, I don't know, a year ago or probably more than a year ago, they put I forget, but it was over $1 billion, I believe, into CCIV or Lucid. And so they're going to be, and part of that deal was that they're going to be building a factory over there as well. So obviously that, leads to expansion out of the U.S., which is fantastic.
Right, exactly.
Get into all those other markets. So.
Right.
Yep.
And we call it CCIV. That's just because of what we're going off of. It's obviously going to be, it's Lucid. We know this. We're just calling it CCIV just because it's we've known it as for the longest time. But the big catalyst coming up for this is that merger date in July. So towards the end of July, we're going to see that merger date. We hope to see the stock run up then. We'll see what happens there leading up to it, and we'll kind of walk you guys through what we plan on doing with it. And then, we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, this thing goes to the moon and everybody makes their money back that they lost back there in back in February. So we'll see what happens there. But that's going to wrap up this video. We hope you guys enjoyed this kind of content. If you did, let us know down in the comment section below. Also, hit the like, share, notification bell, all that good stuff, and hit the sub button. It's the best way to support the channel, and it's the best way for you guys to stay up to date on all things stock market related news. And again, we're trying to hit 5,000 subs by the end of this month, so you know what to do to help us out. And also, we got all the links down in the description for Webull. We got one down there for the merchandise, and we got one down there for the Patreon. If you guys are interested in joining our Discord, that gets you access to all the fantastic community members over there, and the Discord portfolios, and our portfolios, and just everything over there. So we got all the good stuff over there. So again, thank you guys so much for all your support, and we'll see you guys in the next video.